So it will be first checking the command line argument. If it is there, it will be following the command line argument. If it's not there, it will be following the my variables.yml. Hi friends, hope you are doing well. Today I'll be discussing about different methodologies how we can manage the pytest command line arguments. I hope most of you already knows how can you implement command line argument in pytest framework. For example, here I'm running this test case using two command line argument, browsers and URL. Now you can see that it is opening the Chrome browser and opening google.com. So it's fine. Now these implementations I hope many of you already know. Still I'll be discussing in this part just for whoever does not know yet. So for that you need to implement one pytest add option. This it takes a parser arguments, and using the parser add options we can add different command line options, you can say. And to extract the value of those command line options we have defined two more fixtures. Okay, so this fixtures actually uses request as an argument, and using the request.config.get option, this is an internal functionality of pytest framework. Using that we can take the values of these options and return. So as a result, if we use these browsers fixtures to any of the fixtures or any test cases, we will be directly getting the value of the command line argument from browsers. Okay. At the same time, it is same for URL. To implement this thing, what I have defined another fixture, as I have told that fixture can be called into another fixture. So I have called this browser fixtures at here, and if we run the browser fixtures, we will be having the value of the browser's command line options into it. So this will be actually containing the value of command line options. You say for an example, whenever we have run this test case using Chrome, that means this Chrome will be stored into browsers directly. So I will be validating that if the browser, whatever browser user has provided, it is Chrome or not. If it is Chrome, then it will be creating a Chrome drivers. If it is not, then it will be creating a Firefox driver. This is the functionality of it. Here we have yield the driver in place of return. The advantage of yielding is that we can execute all the statements before the execution of the test case, and once the execution has been done, control will be returning at this position. As a result, we do not need to close the browsers inside the test case. This fixture will be doing the job. Inside the test case we are taking the drivers, and here we have used this URL as a fixture and set of fixture also. So URL is having the value of URL we have provided, then we are opening that URL. This is a simple test case. Let's come to the point of today's session. So today I'll be discussing about how these options, command line options, can be managed. Here I have used only two options, command line options, so it is not creating any problem. But in case the number of options are larger, more than 5 or 10 options near about, so in that case, every time typing all these options into command line is tedious job. So it is better that if we have another way out such that we can handle these situations and we do not need to retype all these things again and again. There are few way outs. I will be discussing about two of them and their advantages and disadvantages. Here one way is use the pytest.ini file. So inside pytest.ini file you can provide this argument as pytest add-ons. Here if you provide this thing, and then if you run the test case without providing this command line argument here, so it will be taking this value from the pytest add option. Okay, let us open the Chrome browser. Now I'll be checking if it is working or not. So let me change it at Firefox. Okay, now I'll be running it again. See, it has opened the Firefox browser. Okay, that means It's working fine. Now the problem with this pytest.ini file is, say, we have to commit this pytest.ini file and push this into our GitHub repository or any type of version management you are using. Okay. Now here, if any command line argument which is actually a secret information which stores passwords, so that type of information is there, or say for an example user details, user ID, birth date, all these thing information may be there for our format for our testing. So that should not be loaded into our repository and not be shared with other people. So for that we can use another option which is better than pytest.ini. So we can use variables file, one variables file, and inside that variables file we can provide all these options and values. So here I have used one variables like, so yeah, deleting this thing from pytest, and I have used this variables file. Inside this variables file I have provided the browser equal to Chrome and the URL well. Now how can we use these variables file? So for that we need to have two prerequisites to be installed. One is YML, pyyml, pyyml. Okay, so this is already installed in my system, and another one is pip install pytest variable. These two are already installed in my system. So now we are good to go. Okay, so for that we have to make one small change into pytest.ini file, that is which variable file I want to use for my test case executions. So here I will be providing dash variables, and I will be providing this web file name, as this file name is located at the same directory where the pytest.ini file is located. So we'll be just providing the file name, no path is needed. Variables dot yml. Okay, so now I have provided the variable files path. Next we have to make some changes into contest.py file, which actually make this contest.py file comparatively easier. You do not need to use this pytest add option here. Okay, and inside the fixture we will be taking variables, and we'll be using this variables dot get. So it's enough. Can you see there is just some easy changes? It's actually making the pytest conf file comparatively easy to understand. So now we have made changes into contest.py file and we are done. So next I'll be running it again. See, let us open that Chrome browser, and yes, you can understand that the URL is totally different and URL is same as this one, whatever I have defined into my variables .yml file. See here, if I change this browser as Firefox, let's see if it is using this variable or not. See, it is open in Firefox browser. Now we can make some changes into contest.py file, which will be actually a combinations of this two-way command line argument and using that variable. So in case without changing the variables file, you sometime may want to change the executions of the test case. That means for an example, in the variables we have Chrome browsers defined. We are not going to change that. We just want to check that if it is running with for Firefox at least one time. So in that case, while we are running the test case, at that time we want to provide the command line argument also. So it will be first checking that command line argument. If it is there, it will be following the command line argument. If it is not there, it will be following the my variables.yml. What do you say? I think it's a good idea to handle this both the situations. So for that, we will be re-implement this pytest add option because I want this also, and we will be keeping both these things. So here I'll be giving this a request, a request fixture, and they will check if a request dot config dot get option. I hope I have written it correctly. So there I'll be providing as browser. If this condition is satisfied, then return this thing, else it will be returning this thing. If this much is, if this block has been there, so it will be returning it, otherwise it will return this thing. Okay, if you feel uncomfortable with this thing, so I'm done this thing. Last was also right, same way it was working, because a return statement will actually come out from the test execution. Okay, so if it is inserted into that if block, that means it will come out from the execution, so it will not execute the variables, right? So the same I'll be doing changes into here also. Qust request if then request dot config dot get option url. If this condition is satisfied, return this thing, else it will be returning this thing. Okay, so now I am running this test case in this way. So here in the variable we have Firefox. Now in the command line argument, I'll be running it as Chrome. Let's see how it is happening. So it has executed with Chrome. Now you can understand that how advantageous it is. So if I want to change this browser also, I mean URL also, in that case, so for an example, I want to keep the browser as same. I just want to change the URL. So in that case, I'm writing what should be the URL for Google here. So I have given the google.com as an URL. I'm running this. Let's see. It will be using the Firefox browser using the variable file. Okay, and open the google.com. I can see the combinations is working fine. That's all for today's session. Here, okay. I would like to add one thing. Here, the my variables file we can keep at our local as our variable files. There we can provide any type of secrets informations into that file, and that file will be with us. We are not going to load into the GitHub or any version management system. So that way we can keep our informations with us. There are many other better way to handle these credentials and all the secure informations, like our organizations can use Vault. However, when you are starting a project, at that time you may not be having all this information, so all this infrastructure. That time you can use this variables file to handle the secure data. I hope it was helpful and hope to see you again. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.